Looking back at the film on Texas A&M, what kind of stood out as areas for growth moving forward?
Oh, well, obviously on-ball defense and cleaning up the backboards. We allowed a few too many offensive rebounds. I thought we did a lot of good positive things, obviously, down the stretch to get it to overtime, and with the team that was playing with their backs against the wall and needed to get a win in conference with two really, really good experienced guards. And there's some things that we've got to try to continue to clean up.
When you talk about on-ball defense, is that technique? Is that will? What needs to improve there?
A combination of all things. I think we have to be a little bit more impactful on the ball. I thought the initial part of our defense was good. It was just the secondary action, the secondary effort that we needed to continue to get better at.
With the freshmen, is it fair to say that maybe the offense comes a little bit more naturally when they get to this level, especially the one-on-one offense, and then learning the team defense, the techniques, maybe takes a little bit more time?
I'd say that's fair to say. I think that's part of getting and growing the connectiveness that you need to be able to have, to be in the positions, first of all, in the initial positioning on the ball, and then on the back line of it, the other positioning between the bigs and the guys, knowing who to be off of in terms of personnel-wise, where they need to be adding gaps and those kind of things. And sometimes that takes a little more time when it's not second nature to you.
Yeah, Cal didn't seem like overly concerned with it after the game, with us at least. Is that something that maybe he's not, because it does take time and it takes more communication and getting to know each other as teammates?
It does. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time, especially when you got a group of young men that have been used to probably not being held as accountable. One, used to their ability to outscore people, be the main focus, and so we've got to do a much better job collectively being assignment sound, being a little more disciplined, and sticking to the scout.
With Aaron's foul troubles, is it more of just being better going straight up, or is there kind of more to it in that way?
I think it's a little bit doing his work a little bit sooner, positioning-wise. Some of it is protecting his body, which is why his hands were going out that way. And we had a couple of good film sessions with him, so he can see what we're seeing and try to help him to improve that.
Is it just as simple as saying, "Hey, just go up and block the shot instead," or do you want him to kind of just be straight up? Or
initially, when you've got guards that are coming downhill, you want to go vertical. Sometimes that becomes a little more difficult than it sounds. Dealing with other big guys, you try to wall up and be strong and hold your core and be big, and then allow for the weak side defenders to come and block shots. We just want to contest those shots. We want to block everybody else's shot, but when you're guarding the ball in your man, we just want to contest those shots, not leave our feet, not put them to the free throw line, and that takes a little bit of time when your entire life, your instincts have been to leave your feet and try to go block it.
Missing that weak side defender, I'm sure one of those is Adu, who's the guy that comes over and blocks a lot of those shots. Just how big has his absence been over the last few games?
It's been felt. Obviously, just not only on the defensive side, just his physicality and his ability to create off the bounce and get some opportunities on the offensive glass as well, and just his toughness and his nose for the ball.
How have you seen him change over the past year? Obviously, his body has changed a lot, but is this kind of different style of play? Is that just bigger opportunities, different opportunities, or did something switch with his mindset too?
It's a year of experience. It's a year of understanding. It's a year of physically maturing. It's a year of going in and prepping in the summer for what you're going to be expected to perform, how you're expected to perform, those kind of things, and that helps. You get a little older, a little wiser, and that certainly helps.
Coach Cal talked about in post-game how Aaron's foul trouble kind of gave Ugo a chance to step up, and he played one of his better games. What did you guys see from him on film?
Yeah, I thought Ugo was great. I thought Ugo stepped up with the opportunity that he had and played incredible minutes for us. He rebounded the ball, he blocked shots, and he made some plays offensively, which is what we know he's capable of doing.
Coach, what do you learn about
about your team in an overtime period, 1-1 so far this year in those games, that you might not learn about them during, regular parts of the game?
We certainly have to, as a staff, help them a little bit more. And coaches have different philosophies, and Cal's philosophy is always allow the players to go make those plays. We have to help them a little bit in terms of structuring what we want exactly, and to show them what we're looking for in film, and then practice it, and then allow them to be able to go and execute in those kind of games.
What do you
Can
see
you tell
for
us
this?
about the matchup tomorrow night?
It's going to be a physical matchup. Mississippi State is a tough, veteran, experienced team. Does that sound familiar in the SEC? A lot of veteran guys, a lot of grads, big bodies. And so we're going to have to take care of the ball. We're going to have to take care of the glass. And we're going to have to do a better job defending the ball.
They recently added Tolu Smith. You've seen him a couple times in the past. He's played well against Kentucky. What kind of challenge will he present inside?
No pun intended, a big challenge. He's big, physical, strong, experienced, really, really talented, all-league player. Yeah, so it's going to be, we're going to have to do a lot of work early. We're going to have to make sure we're in position to be helping, and we got to, once the shot goes up, we got to meet his physicality and try to drive him away from the glass, because he does a good job of doing that. Does a great job of getting to the free throw line, utilizing his size. They do a great job of getting the ball to him in areas where he can finish or get fouls. And guy that's going to the free throw line 9 times a game at his size that's a concern that we have to make sure that we try to minimize.
Obviously, A&M was the best offensive rebounding team in the country, but is there a common thing to defensive rebounding outside of just blocking out that you guys got to improve on there? I know there's the Illinois State game that Cal was frustrated too, given 24, I think it was.
Yeah, no, I mean, we have to, a lot of times it's our defensive balance that doesn't allow us to be in position to go finish out the defensive possession, and you need to rebound the ball to finish out the defensive possessions, and that helps your defensive numbers. And so oftentimes we are also playing 3 guards, and so there are the physical matchups there, and we've got to be more disciplined and more physical when we do have a smaller lineup in there to make sure that we're hitting bodies and creating space. And then Texas A&M did a unique thing. Obviously Garcia does a great job, is averaging 5 offensive rebounds a game, and what they do is they run in and they tip it out, to it's not necessarily your bigs, they're tipping it out to their guards, and with our guards running in, their guards are standing out, they're the ones that are receiving the ball. So there was numerous of those opportunities that were long tip out that you're not necessarily getting a hold of. And so we've got to do a better job on the initial rebound to snatch it and secure it so that they can't tip it out.
Orlando, you guys played a total of 85 minutes last week, and of that, Trey was only on the floor for not 1 minute. And so is there anything with the dude maybe still not being available that you guys can do to get him off the floor, or is he just going to have to keep playing as many minutes as possible?
The luxury of having a veteran like Trey is that his experience is certainly needed. Both he and Antonio a lot. Obviously, they play the most minutes on the team, and but we do have to find time for some other guys to be able to step in and help us, whether that be Aaron at some 4 and playing a big lineup, or whether that be Justin Moore at some 4, or even Jordan, who's been getting better every day in practice and working his tail off for those opportunities. And when we put those guys in there, they have to be able to capitalize some, so that it does take a little bit off of Trey and allow some of those other guys to step in.
We've seen this team bounce back from wins so far this year. What's the mindset been in practice so far, and what do you guys? What's the mindset going into the game tomorrow?
It's this past few days has been all about learning. It's been about defense. It's been about working on technique. It's been about holding them accountable in terms of there being assignment sound of what we need for this team collectively to be able to do.
Scoring 90 is obviously fantastic, but as you talked about, giving up those high point totals is concerning. But is there a level of confidence? You guys know the offense is set. If you work on that defense and bring those point totals down, it's going to be hard for anyone to beat you guys.
That's the idea. The idea, obviously, to be able to win is to score more than the other team, but is to try to hold them from scoring more than you. That's what we really want to try to do in an area that we know we've got to continue to get better. We do score. It's second nature to us. But we have to be able to get those defensive stops, securing rebounds so that we can get on offense. Now, as fast as we play, we're getting 10 to 15 extra opportunities. That also means other teams are also getting those opportunities, and we got to try to see how we minimize those.
I know the half-court offense was stagnant a couple times. But is that like what more work do you guys have to do there in that sense? Because obviously fast break you guys can get buckets quick, but when it slows down in half-court, what are you guys trying to improve there?
We just got to continue to move the ball and get the ball, get penetration, whether that be with a pass or off the bounce, and then play off of that where we can take not good shots but great shots. And the reason why we're able to shoot the ball particularly well is that we're not taking contested shots. We're taking open, great shots with stationary, feet set, shot ready. And that helps, obviously, your percentages of being able to make those shots.
Seems like everybody's kind of waiting for a breakout game from Justin. What does a breakout game for Justin look like to you? Does he have to go score 20, 25, or is it other stuff with him?
No, I think one of the keys, one of the highlights of the last game was how well Justin played. Everybody thinks that it's got to be about offense, but it's not. And Justin is not just a guy that can score the ball. His versatility, his ability to defend multiple positions, his ability to offensive rebound, his ability to guard smaller guards, bigger guys, that's his real value. And he's a well-rounded basketball player. And that's what we ask of him. That's what we're going to continue to ask of him. And if there's going to be a game where he makes, has a 20, 30-point game, it's in him. But that's not what just makes him. He's a very good basketball player that's well-rounded.
With the guards, especially on-ball defense, what are some of the things that you've noticed that really need to be changed, or is there anything y'all can, for lack of better words, tweak to try and help them out in that area?
That was nice. I like how you did that. We have to impact the ball, and it starts, obviously, with the point of our spear of defense, and that's the guard has to initially get into the ball when the big calls the screen. So as the screen is getting ready to happen, we need to be in positioning where we're dictating where the ball is going, and that's what we're attempting to do. A lot of times, our initial point has been really good. It's then when we release it, and then they wind up doing other things. It's the secondary effort that we got to get better at. Once we get to that point, when young players at the high school level, the primary effort is enough. College level and other levels, the secondary and third effort is where it's at, and that's what we're learning.
Last time you were at home, must have been the crowd being loud. Looked like you and Cal couldn't hear each other very well on TV.
I know he couldn't hear me. So
Anything in particular
I was losing my voice, and I had to let him know we're on defense. That was it.
Crowd, right?
Yes,
Crowd.
it was very loud.
Orlando, do you think after 3 games that your young guys have a good idea that conference play is different, or is that just an ongoing thing for them?
Oh no, they know it's different. They know it's different. They know, especially, you get two things happening, right? You're in conference play. One, we go down to a Texas A&M team that's picked the preseason to win the conference and been struggling in their guards, and then we're coming into town, and you get 2 all-league players that absolutely play out of their minds, and so they're like, yeah. When Cal says we're everybody's Super Bowl, we are everybody's Super Bowl. That's no lie. We galvanize teams to try to come out and play their best against us. We do that. And so our guys are realizing that's real. That's really real. And now you're in conference and becomes, stakes are a little bit higher. And the beauty of it is our guys are up for the challenge. Obviously, you take a team that played that well, that shot career numbers and all those things, and you still have a chance to beat them. We're right there. We just have to do a couple little things to help ourselves finish out those kind of games, high-level games.
How different is it for you personally seeing the SEC now as opposed to when you were here the first time? I mean, obviously, I know you didn't look past opponents that first time, but it's a lot tougher now than it was back then. It seems like, at least.
Absolutely. And I think it's the presence of Cal being in the league. That's without a doubt. Kentucky being what Kentucky is has raised the floor in the whole conference. I think that's fair to say. It's easy to say. Everybody's recruiting has improved. Everybody's coaching has improved, and you see it up and down. It's exciting and it's fun for the fans, right? But for the coaches, yeah. You start getting a lot more grades. You know what I'm saying?
With all the recruiting and keeping up with other teams and your own team, how much sleep we get at night this time of year?
What's that?
How much sleep you get at night?
Yeah, what's that?
Oh,
We nap.